people or connecting dots, she always loves watching what happens when things that seem isolated come together to create something strong and more beautiful. I've had an opportunity to work with Dr. Fresk on a number of occasions, and she's an amazing woman, an amazing coach, an amazing consultant and facilitator, and she has taken literally all the personality assessments. She has a love-hate relationship with her maximizer strength. She's an achiever on the Enneagram, but she fully embraces her learner strength. She harnesses these qualities to help her clients figure out, where do I go? And how do I grow? Her latest endeavor, the Integration Project, helps working moms find peace from the constant mental tug of war that comes with being a working mom. That is joy unshaken in your own way. Originally from Minnesota, she has fully acclimated to Georgia weather, though she misses it up north. She does not ever want to move back to a frozen tundra. She has a big piece of her heart up there, but we're so happy you are here in Georgia. When she's not helping people and other organizations and businesses grow, you'll find her exploring the world near and far with her husband of 20 years and their 8-year-old daughter. Today, Dr. Fresk is going to introduce us to the Cupcake exercise, a tool designed to clarify what really needs your attention in order to find your inner peace. Let's do it.
It's a little bit hard to follow Shonda Santana. Thank you. I am so humbled to be on this stage following Shonda in advance of a whole bunch of other inspirational women. I just want to say right now, this moment is a dream come true. It's 14, 15 years in the making now. I met Amy pretty much immediately after moving to Athens. She had moved from Utah right around the same time I moved from Minnesota. And we instantly bonded over not having those wreaths that we could hang on our doors every month. We were really in shock with the Southern culture. But what came to fruition year after year after year for almost an entire decade is we would continue bonding over the question, how do you find community in Athens, Georgia? Now, when you're in this room today, it feels easy. But for us, it was hard at first. We found people, we socialized, we did all the things, but we weren't sure how to make community. And to be here today, seeing Amy make community happen is just so beautiful, and to be able to be a small part of it. So Amy, thank you for bringing us all together today. I am shaking, y'all. I do this for a living, but to be here today, I'm shaking. I'm so excited. Okay, so what we are going to do over the next few minutes is think about what needs our attention in order to bring our intention to fruition. So let me say that again. We're going to think about what needs our attention in order to bring our intention to fruition. And we're going to do that through the cupcake exercise. Now, it seems like a fun, lighthearted little name, but the exercise itself is pretty serious. Because if we want to live out our purpose and the things that we really want to have happen, we need to think about what needs our attention. So I want you to turn to the cupcake page in your workbook. It looks like this. And I want to talk you through this exercise for a moment. So oftentimes, what's getting our attention are the things that are right in front of us in the moment. It could be the distraction of what might be happening on the news, and we start going down a rabbit hole of how we're going to help fix the problem, or how we might be talking to other people about it. It might be, oh, we've got 10 soccer games to get to in the next 2 weeks, and so that's what I'm going to focus on. And those things are great, but we need to start to think about what are we actually doing with our time? Where are we driving our energy? So, the way we think about the cupcake exercise is that first, in order to have a cupcake at all, we have to have the cake. These are the things that are required of us. The things that we need to do to make the cake even exist, okay? So for me, parenting and partnering are two of my cake needs. I have to give time and attention to parenting and partnering for my cake to even exist. The next thing we have is the flavor. These are the things that help to fulfill us, the things that bring us true peace, joy, and satisfaction, the things that center us. So for me, that includes my morning workouts. I am not me if I have not had my morning workout. I also need my small group. And I want to point this one out because a small group used to be a thing that I put in the frosting, which we'll talk about in a minute. But now if I am not getting that small group, if I am not having that flavor in my life, I am not the person that I want to be in walking out my purpose. Then we have the frosting. These are the things that add a little bit of fanciness into our lives, right? We sprinkle our time with them when we can. Oftentimes we start to mistake these things with the flavor. For me, fresh flowers sitting on my countertop are part of my frosting. They just bring a smile to my face, a little pep to my life. Also pedicures. Give me a moment with a pedicure and I'm rejuvenated. But I don't need that as a flavor. I will tell you, at one point in my life, I thought they were flavor. And they probably were at that point in my life. But now I've recognized that they actually probably don't take precedent over that small group time, right? Instead of spending that hour at the salon, I need that hour with my girls. And then finally, the liner. And this is the hard one. These are the things that we need to let go of. These are likely things that we have identified over time as the things that need to exit our life, that they are taking up too much of our time and attention, but we have a hard time letting go for whatever reason it might be. It could be a habit, it might be because of others' expectations, it might be because of our own personal expectations for ourselves. But these are the things we need to throw away, because no one wants to bite into the liner of that cupcake, right? That would be disgusting. So, what I want you all to do is take a few minutes to think about, what's your cake? What's your flavor? What's your frosting? And the hardest part, what's at least one liner thing that you need to throw away? Ideally, I'd like for you to write down 3 things in each of these categories. The liner, I need at least 1. Okay? So take a few minutes at your table and spend some time reflecting and writing those things down. Exercise to start to bring some clarity about what needs our attention. I want you to take a look at your list and I want you to think about, are these things aligned with my intention? When you look at your needs and you look at the cake, are you giving attention to the cake currently? Those things you wrote down, are you giving them the attention they deserve? Are you making sure that you have room for the flavor? Is your frosting taking over the cake or the flavor? Or maybe even the liner is taking over some of those things. Before we finish up the cupcake exercise, what I want you to do is I want you to look at that list and I want you to circle something in the cake or in the flavor that maybe needs a little bit more of your attention. And I want you to write down one thing you can do that will bring you to that place. What is one thing that you can do to make sure that thing is getting the attention that it needs and deserves? And if that thing requires the support of someone else, I want you to write that name down. And I'm going to ask you to contact that person within the next 24 hours to let them know. It's the scariest, hardest part. But we know that when we share these things with people, we're more likely to follow through and take action. Okay? The other thing I want you to do as we finish out is in your registration bags, you have a little packet that looks like this. Okay, so I want you all to take this out. There may be 10 of you that don't have this. I had planned for 150, if we're being completely honest. So if you didn't get one, let me know, and I'd be happy to share one with you. Okay, I think my table is perhaps the table that didn't have that. Well, that's serendipitous. All right, inside you have all the makings of a cupcake. All right, you've got a cake mix to remind you to keep your attention on the cake and the flavor. You have a packet of frosting to remind you to sprinkle in the fun when you can. You also have a liner. I want you to take that out right now. If you are at a table that doesn't have this packet with the liner, pull out a piece of paper from your notebook. On your liner, I want you to write down one of your liner things that you wrote down on your sheet. Okay? Write that thing down. If you want to write 2 or 3, you can, but at least one, the big one. Maybe even the one that's going to be hardest for you. And once you've done that, I want you to crumple it up. I want you to put it in the middle of your table. And at some point today, when you get up to use the restroom, grab a coffee, grab your lunch, I want you to grab those and throw them in the garbage. We are going to symbolically represent that we are getting rid of the liner today. We are taking that first step towards action. Okay. The last thing that you're going to see in your packet is a little card that says the integration project. As Sarah was mentioning, my newest endeavor is helping women who are trying to pursue their professional ambitions and being good moms alongside that find a little bit of peace in that tug of war that happens when we feel like we are in 2 separate places. And the reason we call it the integration project is because we know those 2 things. See. Are we back on? Oh, yep. That those 2 things can go hand in hand. We have a cohort starting up in January. We would love for you to join us. The QR code will take you right to our registration page if that's something you're interested in. With that said, I just want to thank you once again for being here today. And I believe Sarah's coming back up to introduce our next. Oh, gotcha.